Hello, everyone, my light lovers and seekers. This is Spiritual Sense, information for your soul. You already know me, or if this is your first time, I'm Sharice, and I've created this channel because I love talking about spirituality and being a better person. Ninty and I met on Facebook. I said I want to join some groups because I need some more spiritual women to connect with, and she has really, really good vibes. So I asked her to do a collaboration with me, and she said yes. And I know I'm like still shocked that people say yes when I ask them to do things.
Oh,
So tell the people a little bit about yourself.
well, like you said, my name is Ninty. Um, I was in the Facebook group too, the spiritual Facebook group for Black girls. Um, if you know me, you just probably know that I'm extremely, extremely spiritual. Everything I do is a spiritual approach. My different platforms, I'm on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram under the name Soulful Sasa. If it's not spirituality, it's family. And I'm very excited to be doing this
Yay. And
today.
where are you from?
I was born in New York. My family is Haitian, and I was raised in Decatur, Georgia.
Okay, I just wanted to let people know you're Haitian because one of the funny things that happens to me is even if I meet somebody in the States, they have like a Caribbean connection.
That happens
Like
to me too.
common.
I'd be like, I like you.
I
Are
know,
you
right?
like
I'm
me?
like,
And I'm
I
like, where
don't
you
know.
from? Trinidad. Okay. That's where it
Yes,
is.
yes, yes. Okay. So our topic today is conscious dating, which is something that Ninti is very interested in. I don't know if you would say passionate, but it's definitely a focus.
Yeah.
And in 2020, I said dating is wild. I live here in Atlanta, and listen, I'm from an island. We just do things in a different way, right? I think
Mm,
the culture, we'll get into a lot of different details, right? But comparing the culture of like growing up on an island where like almost everybody is married or partnered, and
mm,
the family, I can't even say the family unit, but like the extended family system is super important.
yeah.
And then like coming to the States where it's like just one nuclear family here, and then halfway across, another nuclear family. And so I feel
Mm,
like a lot of community is missing. But
yeah.
we're gonna talk about conscious dating and what I call subconscious dating.
Yes, I like
And
that.
yeah, you like that? And then I've actually never used that before. But then I also wanted to talk about like spiritual partnership. Gary
Okay.
Zukav, who I'm obsessed with,
Yeah.
talks about spiritual partnership. I think he's married, but he calls his partner his spiritual life partner.
Wait,
Some
who is it?
Gary Zukav.
Oh, I haven't heard of him.
Let me put it in the chat. He is my book here. It's probably in my room. I have. Look at me, all the way. One of my heart of the soul, and so his partner is Linda Francis. Um,
Okay.
I say all the time, if y'all have watched any of my videos, if I was a middle-aged white man, somebody born in
I
1940,
think so.
1950,
1940s.
this would be me. I would have gone and lived on a mountain. I would have said, society, what? I would have
Mm-hmm.
written a book
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. So but I was born a black woman in the island. So in the, in the 80s. So there's that. But I relate a lot to him and his teachings, and some of the so if you want a book, read Heart of the Soul or any one of his books. Really, is really good.
Yeah,
But
I've been looking for some more books, so that's awesome.
after this, I could tell you so many books.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So conscious dating. How would you describe it? Define it?
Mm. I would have to say conscious dating is when you approach the dating scene consciously looking for a specific experience with a specific person or persons, as opposed to subconsciously doing it and just kind of approaching the situation without giving it full thought and just recreating childhood experiences that aren't
Mm,
that usually aren't pleasant.
yes.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it.
I what I like about what you said was just entering the dating pool for a specific purpose, because you can consciously date, but your goal doesn't have to be to get married,
No.
right?
Yeah.
I like that. It's like being intentional and your
Yeah.
actions matching your intention.
Yeah,
I,
because some people, dating for them is not long term, but
yeah.
you can still find someone and have something beautiful with them and
Yes.
gain from the experience.
I'm definitely team relationships don't have to last forever,
Mhm.
and we can let it be what it is right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
And if it ends, when it ends, it doesn't have to be because of this big terrible thing that
Yeah.
happened, right? We could
Yeah.
go in peace. We can reflect on the experience as something positive, like positive
Mhm.
memories.
It sounds peaceful.
Peace. I listen. Joy and peace. That's what it is for me.
Yeah.
Um, so, what else would you say about conscious dating? Yeah.
Conscious dating. Um I would say for me, when I think of a relationship, I usually think of long term, but like you said, it can be timeless, whatever it is. I would
Mhm.
say when it comes to conscious dating, I think that a lot of people, they go into the dating scene and they say, I'm looking for an orange. They're like, I'm looking for an orange, but subconsciously, from their mother and father, they're used to something more like an apple. So when they're going
Mhm.
to the dating scene, although they're saying, I'm looking for an orange, because they only know maybe like a tart apple, the first thing they see that's an apple, because it's subconsciously familiar, that's what they
Yes.
pick. And
Yes.
then they do it over and over and over again, and then they're like, why am I not getting an orange?
Yes.
All these fruit are the same.
That is so interesting. I think we had talked about this. Like well, I don't think we call it like generational trauma, but it's
Mm,
like your relationship with your parents, those early childhood experiences that sort of
yeah,
shape the way we think about
yeah,
relating to other people.
yeah, and
Um,
ourselves.
which I feel like is, well, I also use the statistic that about 15 to 20% of people have gained some awareness
Hmm.
or have become conscious and are then doing things intentionally, which
Yeah,
means then that 80%, 85% of people are just sort of existing or going
yeah,
with the motions or,
yeah. Go
yeah,
with the motions. That's a
yeah,
great way to put it. I think a lot of people just go with the motions in
yeah.
dating until they get something they don't want, and they're like, what are we doing? Well, what have you been doing?
Yes. What have you been doing? That's a
Yeah,
good thing. Think
yeah.
so. I also on my channel, I talk about toxic relationships a lot, toxic
Hmm.
relationships.
Yeah.
Um, and I haven't really done a video on toxic relationships in a while because I want to shift more towards green. Let's look at green flags. Let's look at healthy relationships, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Here
yeah.
is conscious dating.
Yeah.
But one of the things I really try to push the message on my channel that a toxic relationship takes two toxic people, and that even though one person may appear to be the abuser, that the person who is being taken advantage of also has some unhealthy ways of relating to people that
Yes.
we have to learn. And I always use myself as an example because I'm
Hmm.
like, the book Women Who Love Too Much is like one of my favorite books for
Okay.
helping people acknowledge their limits and their areas for growth, right? Like you're
Yeah.
not saying you're a bad person, right?
Yeah.
But there's areas that a person can grow when it comes to that well themselves, which I think is the best relationship advice.
Yeah.
If you work on yourself,
Yes.
then if you really want a orange,
Hmm.
then that's what you're gonna get because you are actually on that wavelength now
Yes.
that you've
Yeah.
done the work.
Yeah. I think the fruit comparison is good because it's
I
like,
like that.
I was raised by two apples, but I
Yes.
want an orange. Do you know what an orange even looks like? Do you know what a man
Mhm.
that's sweet, or a woman that's sweet and kind and caring and giving, do you know what those, like you said, green flags look like? Or are
Right.
you used to the red flags and that's all that you can see?
Hmm. A lot of people are used, which is why I think there are so many dating gurus or relationship minded. Well, first of all, human beings in general are social creatures, right? We need
Yeah.
relationships, but I think because so many people are subconsciously going through life and picking people, that there's a proliferation of advice on how to do it right. When
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
if you would elevate your consciousness, as they say,
Yeah.
you would find what it is that you're looking for because you would be
Yeah.
reflecting that. So, I mean, not that we are relationship experts, right? I don't think that's
So
what we're
far
saying.
from
That's
that.
not the message being sent. I think, though, that there are ways to be intentional about picking a
Yeah.
partner,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Do you have any tips for? Well, let's go to what are your thoughts on online dating?
A lot of people I know who are in healthy relationships, they found that person online.
Okay.
Oddly, a lot of times that person is in another state.
Oh
I don't
goodness,
know if this is some sort of phenomenon or what, but a lot of people find love online.
that's true.
Um some people, they find love on apps.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't like apps because they're too impersonal for me,
Mm-hmm. I
and I
feel
feel
you.
like dating is something that's personal.
Yeah.
Of course, you can meet someone on there, and you're like, okay, there's a connection here, but
Yeah.
a lot of the people on those apps are shallow. They're just
Yeah.
looking at your picture, a few paragraphs about you, and
Mhm.
deciding whether or not they like you.
That's
And
that's
that's not enough.
agreed.
It's
Agreed.
not enough.
Yeah, I agreed. I won't call myself an online dating expert, but I have a lot of experience with online dating.
Hmm.
um, I completely agree with you that the vast majority, honestly, I feel like it's a numbers game when it comes to online dating. And
Mm.
maybe I have two great quality dates out of 100 men that have messaged me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's not good statistics. That's really not. And it takes a level of patience to weed people out and to not get discouraged. But like you said, there are so many wonderful people. And so I also know that if I exist on an online dating app, that there's another wonderful
Yeah,
person who exists. But
yeah.
it's difficult.
It's difficult. There are a lot of people on dating apps. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I don't have, but I brought that up because of when you start the dating process, right? So whether
Okay.
you met them on the app, right? I said, even if you're meeting people on the app, you need to get in person as soon as possible.
As
And
soon as possible.
as soon as possible. I say have a phone call within the first 24 hours of like
Yeah.
exchanging names, and then a first date within the week.
Yeah.
I do not encourage people because I also feel like this is part of being intentional and conscious with your dating.
Yeah.
I do not tell people to do long distance. Like I just don't recommend because, like you
Yeah.
say, dating is so personal and there is a very limited amount of information that you're going to get without having that person in your presence.
That's
And
true.
then if your goal is to build a relationship, what kind of relationship do you want? What kind of routine do you want?
Hmm.
Because like I say, I like to go out for a random Wednesday lunch, just
Yeah.
randomly. How are you going to do that if you're like 5 states away? Like,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My partner and I, we were long distance for a year and a half, maybe a year. And it is challenging.
yeah,
We talked on the phone a lot,
yeah.
but I will say it wasn't until we lived together that now you're getting to know this person.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people would say living together is just a total different beast than
Yeah,
dating.
it is.
Yeah.
It
Even
is. That's when you
sleepovers.
get to
Yeah.
know the person
Yeah.
in and
Yeah.
out.
All with all their things. Right. Right.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
is which is what I think maybe we could come back another time to talk about long-term relationships because I feel like there's so much even in this video we're focusing on the early stages of dating. But what I think is really powerful is being able to stay in a healthy relationship. And I love talking about the compromises, the give and takes that people have to do when they
Yeah.
say, I love you, I'm committed to you, and you are going to do things I don't like, and I'm going to do things you don't like. But we're
Yeah.
here, like we're in
Yeah.
it. And I'm not here to hurt you, but there's going to be times I have to apologize. Like I love the
Yeah.
conversation of long term dating,
Yeah.
which I feel like I don't see enough enough of. I feel like married Christian couples do it a lot, but
Mhm.
everybody's
Mhm.
not Christian. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
It's a weird time right now for marriage because the marriage topic right now, especially in the Black community, it's just
yeah,
like why would we do that? You know, my mom or my grandma was being beaten the whole time, my
yeah,
grandpa was cheating the whole time, or you know, it was toxic. So why would we choose marriage? So, like you said in the beginning, it's community. You know, community
yeah.
is like trickling away.
I say it's gonna get worse before it gets better. That's what I say about
Absolutely,
that.
yeah. I think so too. I think people are forgetting. I don't think people realize it, but especially and I can only speak for the US, but
Yeah.
especially with the pandemic, people I feel like people are not realizing that they're forgetting how to socialize and
Mm-hmm.
connect, especially with the opposite gender.
Mm.
Or even if it's not the opposite gender, just in regards to love and
Yeah.
connection that has depth. I think people are forgetting how to do
Mm.
that.
Did they ever know?
Yeah,
They
yeah. I
knew.
think it was
Okay.
easier before because it
Yeah.
was more, like you said, it was more community. But now things, I feel like since COVID,
Since
things are more
COVID.
disconnected.
I feel like COVID made things worse that were already getting worse.
I can
Uh,
agree.
because people are talking about gender wars. Gender wars?
Yeah, it's
Um,
strong right now.
yeah. And it's, see, when I talk to my mother about this stuff, right? I wish she would do one of these with me, but she will not. The
Okay,
answer is a resounding no.
you can do
Uh,
a written out one. You just
I've written
write.
out. Maybe she would do audio only because
Yeah.
she's brilliant and she's so wise. But when I talk to her about modern dating, but specifically modern dating in America, specifically in a big metro area, right? Because I
Okay.
think people in rural areas, small towns, are not experiencing the degree of what is like here in Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's more simplicity.
Yes, there's more simplicity, more I don't want to say more values, but more traditional values. How about
Yeah,
that? Yeah, more
yeah.
traditional values. And so they also very much value the family unit. Not
And
just
that's an important word, value. I feel like a lot of times when we approach dating, we don't know what our values are, or our
mm,
values aren't very strong, and it's just
mm. So people
it can be
misconstruct
a
your
mess. It can
value.
be a mess. Like
I
for
heard
example, go ahead.
well, because you said values.
Mhm.
Um, because I like, well, I don't really like giving. I shouldn't say this. Let me say this. One of the takeaways I think, or one of the tips when it comes to like values, I heard somebody I heard Stephanie Perry on her YouTube
Mhm.
channel because she house sits and I'm obsessed with her because she loves life. uh,
Yeah.
she said you can determine what your values are by figuring out what it is that you really really dislike or hate, right? I don't really hate anything, but what do you really really dislike
You're
in your
right.
life?
I
and
like that.
and then you'll be able to develop what your value is, because I think some people also don't know, well, what is my value? Like
Yeah.
what do I value, right?
Yeah.
I really 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 dislike smoke in all forms, right? One of my values is I like clean air and
Yeah.
I like to breathe healthily.
Yeah.
Health is very important to me.
Yes. I like that.
That's just me.
That's an easy way of doing it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's so many, because I heard somebody give an example of they detest liars, right?
Hmm.
It means you value the truth. Like the
Yeah.
truth is very important to you.
Yeah. Being transparent.
Yeah, yeah. Which, so if you don't know what your values are, I think that's a good tip for figuring out, well, what do I
Yeah. Start
value?
there.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that if you meet someone who doesn't have the same values or you push them down the ladder.
Right.
If you meet someone else who has those same values, then
Yeah,
push them up the ladder.
I like that. What were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
You lost it. But well, we talked about values. It's important to know what your values are
Yep. It's
before,
important.
as you're going into the dating. Um, it's important to be very intentional about what you're looking for. You don't
Yeah,
have to
be
be looking for
transparent.
marriage. Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have to look for marriage, but let people also communicate what it is that you're looking for to be a
Yeah.
conscious dater.
I think
Um,
those relationships last longer because it's just like, well, I knew what you wanted.
yeah, I think so too. Research shows that the more you have in common with your partner, the more likely the relationship will last.
Yeah.
And I know people say opposites attract, but those are really exceptions to the rule.
Mm.
A lot of those relationships do not last, especially when you
Mm.
start living together.
It's difficult living with someone who has a lot of contrasts. It's
I
very
can only
difficult.
imagine. Imagine living with a slob and you are like a neat freak.
Yeah. Or even someone, I think what would be one of my red flags is someone who has a very strong temperament, not
Mm,
necessarily like abusive, but just a strong temperament where they're easily upset or they
mm.
have like really strong passions all the time. I couldn't do it because I'm so relaxed. I'm
Right,
so
right,
relaxed. Yeah.
right.
And sometimes you don't find those things out until you live with that person.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
true. Which is why I think people recommend getting married before you live together because then you can
Mm.
work out the kinks before you decide to call it quits. 'Cause there's, I think for anybody, there's like a learning period of your routine, my routine.
Yeah.
Uh, and then if you're not really committed,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
easy to just, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people feel forced, like if we're together, we have to live together. You don't have to. If you're dating and you're let's say you're in a committed relationship, you don't have to feel forced to live together. I feel like that works for some people, but
Mhm.
for others, they have their own space.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's a typical progression of like American dating?
Is to
Move
start
to,
dating and then move in together.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's like I don't know. There's such a cookie cutter um or closed minded way of dating. Not everyone does things the same
Mhm.
way. Like how they say you get married, you share the same room, blah 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 blah. You don't have to share the same room. If that doesn't work, what if the two people have personalities where they need a certain amount of space? If that works for them, then that works for them.
Yeah.
Some
I
people want separate houses.
That's true. But then I'm like, I don't know. That's just interesting. Although I might be one of those people because I'm like, we could be bi-coastal. A house over here, a house over there. And
Yeah.
like half the year
Yeah.
we're together and then the other
Some
half.
people I feel like they're so confident in their spouse that
Yeah.
they can do that.
Well, those must be very conscious people.
Yeah,
But
it can be scary.
yeah.
And maybe, in the beginning you want to be very close and then later on you want more space and then you come
Yeah.
back to being more close.
Which is interesting.
I think conscious dating in a nutshell is, when you had that aha moment like, "Oh, I've been behaving this way and attracting people the way that I have been because of, like I said, childhood stuff,
Yeah.
things from the
And
past."
based on the past, one of my like life lessons have been
Mm.
leaving people alone who don't want to be helped, I suppose.
Mhm.
But I feel like I still have this strong drive to help bring people to awareness, right? So
Mhm.
hence the YouTube channel. But it's like for anyone who's watching or watching the replay, when it comes to the outcomes that you're getting with whether it's dating or the type of relationship that you end up getting
Yeah.
into. I feel like it's just so easy to get into a relationship. I don't
Yeah.
think there's a trick there. It's like the
Yeah.
hard part is making it healthy and
Yeah.
lasting.
Yeah.
Um, but if it's like the spark of one of the things you can do to bring awareness is look at the pattern of your dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And look at the type of person that you have chosen.
Yeah.
Because I like to say you attract who you are, but the people
Mhm.
say you attract everything. But it's really what you decide to stick with.
Yeah.
Who are you choosing out of, right? Because there are really good people out there.
Mhm.
but who have you decided to give most of your time to? I
Yeah.
think, and are you satisfied with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like that.
because if you're not, then watch more of my videos.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. Okay. What else you want to say about the topic?
Um, hmm, I don't know. I feel like people have to know their values. They have to know their own value. I feel like people have to know their own personal patterns. Like you said, if you've dated three people and they've all given you the same result in the same way, even if it's a different way, they've all given you the same result.
And
You have to look inward. Something's going on here.
yeah,
If you have a pattern of dating, the popular one, emotionally unavailable people, are you emotionally unavailable? And
yeah,
why is that familiar to you?
hmm,
Who taught you that? Is your
yeah,
mom, your dad, your grandma? Who taught you that that's how you function? You know what I mean? If you are always attracting, um, some people attract cheaters a lot. I don't know. Or
yeah.
you're
How
always
did that? I
attracting.
wonder how that works. How? Because I've never really been cheated on.
Yeah.
But I know people who have been cheated on by different people
Yeah,
multiple
I know
times.
someone who says like they just can't do dating because they always get cheated on. I
Mm,
don't know, every situation is different, but
that's true.
it sounds like I would say you don't know how to be in a relationship, or you're attracting men who don't want
Lie?
to be. They don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, yeah. They don't
Or
want to
they're not
be,
monogamous.
which is fine, right? You don't have
Yeah.
to be monogamous.
But if you are, then that's not the
Right.
person for you.
But if you aren't, yeah, no, no, completely
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I had a thought, I had a thought about, you were saying people and their patterns, but the thought is gone.
Well, I'll say again, people with patterns, people who date with patterns are dating the same person. A lot of that is mommy and daddy stuff,
Oh, yes, here's the
inner
thought.
beliefs, inner self beliefs.
Yes, yes, which is 2 points. One point
Mhm.
is therapy, mental
Mhm.
health. Mental health is super important, especially for our community, because I think because so many Black people in America uh, grew up in such close proximity to poverty,
Mhm.
right? Poverty has its own risk factors of like lack
Mhm.
of resources and
Yeah.
increased trauma, complex
Yeah.
trauma, like all these
Yeah.
things. So like even
Poverty affects your psychology or whatever.
yes,
Definitely.
yeah. And even if you didn't grow up poor in America, you probably know somebody who did, or there's just so many experiences that happen that I think would benefit from being processed in therapy. I think
Yeah.
everybody can benefit from therapy. It's something I
Yeah.
do myself.
Yeah.
That in our training, right? Therapists need to see therapists. Like you need to know what
Mhm.
the process is
Mhm.
like. You can only take a client as far as you have been. Uh,
Hmm.
so going to therapy, I just recommend for everybody. And I
Me
know that
too.
it's can be pricey.
It
I don't
can be
think,
pricey.
yeah,
It
I don't think
can.
I'm expensive, but I think I'm average.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
um, but
It's
there
worth.
are
It's an investment.
right, right. I think it is like my financial advisor would say, you need to add therapy as a line item in your budget.
Yeah.
It needs to be a part of your monthly expenses so you can
Definitely.
prepare for it and actually dedicate some money to yourself to
Mhm.
like it's our healing. And
Yeah.
my second point right now is just after the Will Smith thing, which I didn't talk about on my channel because I'm just tired of drama, right? The drama. But after that, there were so many emotions that I went through, but I decided instead of focusing on all the pain that I was seeing people projecting all their pain online, I decided to, focus on what is really, really important to me, which is healing. And so
Yeah.
I've been really intentional about sharing people who are doing healing work and people who are sharing their experiences in a way that that's healing to Black people specifically,
Yeah.
because I think there's, like you said, all these childhood things that have not been talked about in public, or have been talked about in a superficial way. Like
Listen,
it
listen.
I know, right?
When you let's say you've been dating, you dated quite a few people, and then you go to therapy and you see what you're carrying on your back while you're trying to be in a relationship, you'll be like, oh, no wonder it wasn't working. I had sometimes we don't realize how much we've been through. So we have so
Yeah,
much heartbreak. It's hard dating when you have heartbreak. It's so
yeah.
hard. We have heartbreak, like you said, poverty, which affects your psychology.
Hmm.
Um,
The
some of
trauma.
us trauma. Some of us have high functioning anxiety and
Mhm.
depression. Like some of us have paranoia.
That's
So I would
true. Oh,
definitely
yeah.
say therapy is the answer for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
It can
Definitely
help
recommend
you.
therapy.
It's
Yeah.
helped
And
me.
then
It's helped me.
it's helped you. Yeah, it's definitely, well, my life is so much different now after self-exploration and
Yeah.
therapy and
Yeah.
healing work. They say trauma lives in the body. And so also
Yes.
doing movement,
Yeah.
therapy is really helpful.
Yeah, I did that this year.
Yeah.
I went to the gym, and this is kind of where the consciousness comes in because,
Mhm.
like you said, trauma stays in the body. So I went to the gym, and um, certain parts of my body that have always been tight, like it just
Yeah.
always clenched. I focused a lot on that part of my body to kind of, you know, release whatever that
Mm,
is, whatever it
mm.
may be.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I went to therapy, and sometimes talking about it just helps your body
Mhm.
release it. So and
That's true. That's true.
yeah,
I
you just
think,
become more conscious. The more conscious you are about what you're looking for, the more likely you are to find it.
yes, the more conscious you are, the more likely you are to find it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think because then you'll choose better.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm, that was nice.
That's how I felt about your last one. I was like, oh,
Oh
that's
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Oh,
Just
thank you.
basking. Just
Yeah,
basking. Like, that's good.
I liked it. I actually, yeah, I haven't watched it several times, but I watched the clips.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, this
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah. Yeah. It don't take much.
Yeah,
Hopefully someone can watch and, get a little nudge in the right direction.
yeah,
Yeah.
some insights.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I also hope, everyone watching the replay can pick out some things in your life that maybe you weren't thinking about, or
Yeah.
we've brought some awareness. You can figure out what your values are so that you can date consciously, so you can
Yeah.
get the results that you want.
Yes.
um, I am not a relationship coach.
Me neither.
But I am a spiritual life coach, and you can, where's my Kemi unprepared, you can request a session with me on my website, spiritualsense.com. Spiritual Sense, Canada Psychological Center. Look at me. Canada Psychological Center is where I do the coaching. So for one-on-one to help people heal from trauma and toxic relationships. If you wanted
Wonderful.
to go to my actual spiritualsense.com,
Yeah. I
I
would say
do.
if you're having an issue with dating, that's definitely where you can start.
Yeah, because I still think the best relationship advice is focus on you.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on you being the best you that you can possibly be. And then it's very, very difficult to stay in toxic environments when you are healthy. Like,
Yes.
healthy
If you
people
did.
just reject
Yes.
toxicity. It's
Yeah.
just so hard to stay. What do I have on my website? I have artwork. I said I was going to be better at this.
It's
Wow,
okay.
I haven't done any practice. Why would you expect a different result, Charis, when you haven't practiced?
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing. If you've been out of the dating
That's
scene,
a good point.
if you jump back in, let yourself practice a little bit because
Practice.
you forget. You forget.
Yeah, that's a good one. Give yourself grace. Give yourself time to get to know people, right? There's no rushing. When you date consciously and you're dating with intention, there's no rush,
Be
right? Because
friends.
you you lose details when you're rushing into things and you
Yeah.
miss the flags, the red
Yeah.
flags, the yellow
Yeah.
flags. Um,
That's true.
so yeah, so I'll practice for next time. How about that? In the meantime, in the meantime, please follow Ninty at Soulful Sasa. It's the same thing for her YouTube. So if you just click right now, go in the search, click, 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 click. And if you like her content, right? Because I'm also being intentional with who you subscribe to because
Mhm.
it doesn't do anyone any good service if you're gonna subscribe and not watch. If you like the content,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
appreciate the content, subscribe and then watch her videos. You gotta.
Mm.
They're very joyful. Did I no? I'm thinking of somebody else.
Mhm.
I leave comments that say, "Oh my gosh, living joyfully," stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I love seeing people enjoying life.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite content right now that I'm binge watching is Black women living in joy, right?
Oh, I
Not
like that.
struggle, right? Not
That's different.
struggle.
That's sexy.
Right? I mean, joyful relationships, right? I don't need to know your everyday nitpicky whatever, but
Yeah. Yeah.
happy,
I
just
like that.
that's my favorite content right now. I thought about doing a video on that. Like, look at all the wonderful women I just love watching.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't even know how to do that, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, yeah. I'm being very intentional myself. I'm being very conscious about um, the content that I take in.
Yeah.
I think that's programming, and it
Yeah.
also
Got to
impacts
be careful on social media.
because it's so easy for people to, because you said there's so many good people out there. It's so easy for people to become jaded with these negative experiences and
Mhm.
then start thinking there's no good men out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no good people. Yeah, all women are this and all men are that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What you
Which
mean?
is exactly what happens on social media, especially YouTube.
Yeah,
Uh, and I found myself like making videos, but realizing that there's a group of people who don't get it and don't want to get it, right? They don't want to become better. They just really want to stay stuck. And so
absolutely.
I've had to learn to let those people be instead of trying to like, wait. What you? There are some wonderful women out there who can't wait
Yeah,
to love up on somebody,
yeah,
treat them with loving kindness.
yeah.
How you mean all women are this, that, and the third? What?
You haven't met all women.
Exactly.
You've met a lot of women like your
Yeah.
mom or something, but you haven't met all women.
Like she said, oh, that was drops mic. That was the truth. That was the truth. You probably met a lot of women like your mom.
Yeah, yeah.
No
There's other
shame.
types of women.
There are other types of women. Um, I had another thought that left me. I told you at the beginning of this live, before I got on, that I'm a little mentally
It's fine.
exhausted.
Yeah,
Lots of life things, but this was such a treat.
I
We
like
have to
this.
come back and talk about something else now.
Yes, we do. We
This
can
is so
talk for a long
nice
time about different
um,
things.
because it's so refreshing. Because I mean, sometimes I get caught up. We're not talking about conscious dating no more. I'm just saying sometimes I get caught up with the YouTube videos trying to understand people's different ways of thinking. Really, they're in the subconscious, right? They are in the
Hmm.
subconscious, and all men are this and all women are that.
Yeah,
I'm just like, why? How could I reach you? Maybe if I understood you better. And then I
yeah.
find myself just disagreeing with everything they say. And then I'm just the one lone person trying to add in. But man, then I become the man defender. I'm
Yeah,
not a man
I
defender.
know. I
I'm not,
felt like
I'm
that
just,
recently.
I love people. I love people. And there are wonderful women and there are wonderful men.
Yes.
Yes. And in my real life, that's really what I see. 80, ninety
Hmm.
percent of the people in my life are just wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
They
And
like
I
their
feel
life.
like, what'd you say?
They like their life.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people who are saying, um, everyone is the same. They're not enjoying their own life.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about the YouTube world another
I
time.
feel like it's so easy to argue on YouTube or
Yeah.
Twitter. Everyone hates each other.
Yes. Twitter is a cesspool. I cannot get on Twitter. I
Everyone hates each
swear.
other and everyone hates other people's opinions.
Also, I love your hair.
Thank
I
you.
love the big hair, but that's cute too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I decided to
Okay.
do something else.
Something else. We're gonna come back another time, probably May or June. Don't, because
No
I have
rush.
another live next week, and I'm already
Woo!
I'm not organizing it, so that's helpful because there's like a mental preparation that goes into like making sure.
Yeah,
But this was so good. Thank you.
you're
I
welcome.
appreciate
Thank you. Thank you for trusting and respecting me to
it.
even talk about this.
Fabulous. Okay. Well, if y'all have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I'll come back and answer them. Um, Remember to follow Ninty. I think, what's my favorite platform? Maybe your your Reels. What are they called on YouTube? Not shorts. What are
Shorts.
shorts?
Hmm.
Your shorts are always super cute. So
Thank you.
check out her shorts.
My YouTube shorts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are super cute.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, thank you all for watching. And that's that.
Yay.